Hello everybody, Pops Productions 124. Today was another little haul we had. We went to the San Diego train show. And, well, this is what we found. Let's see, let's start with something interesting here. Right here is a Sacramento Northern GP9, I think. It's an Athearn. It's a newer one, flywheel drive. Someone actually custom painted that. I haven't tried it yet, but it looks pretty cool. And then I got these. I got 7 of them. They're all Walters wooden kits. And a couple of them I do believe have Central Valleys under them. At least that one. That one and the first one have Central Valleys. The rest of them have the original Walters trucks. And someone did a pretty good job of these. Then I got, this is a Southern Pacific, another GP9. Someone added these headlights on it, and it's about the same era as this one. Brass flywheels and all. And then I got these, I don't know what the maker is on these, but they have Varney couplers. They're these hook and loop kind of things. They're made of aluminum and steel. I only found 3 of them, but yeah, they're cool and all. I have an engine for them, an old Hobbytown E8. Let's see, what next? We actually pieced together 2 train sets from a bunch of stuff we found today. There was a guy who had a mess of this old wood stuff, as many of you may know. I like this old custom-built stuff. I like to kind of scrounge it together and get it running. But anywho, I found the engine to one of these sets. This is a early Bowser Mountain. These were made in Redlands, California. And this one here is actually, it actually came from the original founder of the San Diego Model Railway Museum. And that was back in the days when the San Diego Model Railway Museum started off in a chicken coop during World War II, I do believe. I don't have a tender. This isn't the original tender for it. I got this separate, but this is an auxiliary tender for a Mantua Mikado. Made from Mantua parts and some sort of boxcar. So you can tell this boxcar roof on there. And has these little tiny thin wheels. It's kind of weird. I don't know if it runs yet. And I got these trucks with it. They're not the right ones, but I have some other ones I might try to fit on there. And I got a tender to it. It's made of paper. So I'll see if I can get that to work. And then I got some cars. This is an old Athearn aluminum kit from about 1950 something. This is a Varney flat car, complete with Cadies. And this is a neat one. This is the Borden's milk car. This is made of paper, I do believe. That's a really hard one to get, I would imagine. I've never seen another one. And I don't even know what you would call this one. It's got a load on there, though. It needs couplers. But this one's made of paper and cardboard, I do believe. Then these two came in a pair. They have the perfect engine for these cars here. And this old Varney Little Joe is from about 1948, and it's proper era for these. These are rather old, too, I do believe. But they just look perfect together, in my opinion. And then let's see, what next? Oh, this is some sort of homemade maintenance away car. And with this car, it was, like I said, it was in this big collection. We found this little stationary slide valve steam engine. It's solid cast, and unfortunately it doesn't crank over, but yeah, it's cool nevertheless. It makes a good load on there, so that's probably what I'm going to do with that. And this here, I've seen so many of these. This is one of the more common wood cars. But this is, I believe, Varney from the 1940s. And that's one of the nicer ones, so we took that one. Then this one here is really cool. This here is a steam engine crankshaft for like a generator or something. But anywho, and in the same collection we found this. I don't really even know what you call it. It's kind of a hobo car. It never had a roof, I don't think. It didn't really show signs that it had one, but nevertheless, it's still pretty cool. we found a truck for it too. In another set, we found a box of parts over here. Mantua 10-wheeler. I just want parts off that. And then this Rivarossi 060 tank engine. Part of a coach kit that's missing everything. I'm just going to show you the rest of the parts. A mess of trucks. All these old trucks. It almost kind of looks scratch built. Maybe for a trolley or something. It's interesting. A whole bunch of little extra little goodies. This is actually for a Marx. What are these called? Slot car. It's the pickup off one, and I know people who might want those. And this is part of rebuilding the roofs on these wooden cars. And a little mess of other stuff. Then this thing here. This is an interesting one. This is I think it's made by Ullrich, but this is a crane made out of paper. These are kind of obscure, and it's really fragile. It's missing the roof, but I guess I'm going to have to make one. But nevertheless, it's a miracle to actually find one, so I'm really excited about that one. Then I found this little set here. The coaches I bought separately, and we actually went to a train store in, I forgot the little, it was like Ramona or something. I'll put the name in this description if you want. But I bought these two brass coaches. They're made by Mantua, and they look like they're really well built. Someone did a nice job at these kits. Some of them are better than others, but they're missing their trucks, which I do believe I have, so I'm gonna have to put them together. They were cheap enough for me, so I took them. Before I found these cars here, I found this little Mantua General. It's missing its drive shaft, but it was like $2. And it has really nice old paint on there. It's from about 1960, give or take. Looks like it's hardly ever been run due to the missing drive shaft. So I'll see if I can see what I can do with that. I have one other that runs really well, so I'm cool with these things. And then I found a log car. It's plastic, and I usually don't buy plastic stuff, but I need log cars, so I'll take what I can get. These two here, I don't know what their design was originally for. It might be vinegar cars or something, but they're really cool. They're hand-built. Both of them. One of them's missing its couplers. Nevertheless, those are cool. And then later on in the day, I found this is actually really obscure car, a Pacific Electric box car made out of paper. Right up my alley. I'm going to try to piece that one together. I usually don't buy these busted cars, but why not? It was like $1. And actually in that same lot, got this one here. It has these early couplers. I have no clue what the maker is on those. I believe they're from the 30s. If one of you guys could tell me, that would be great. Then this is cool. This was built out of or they might have been Bachmann, they might have been Athearn GP9s or GP7s. They cut them in half. They built a homemade chassis. It's made of plastic or something. Unfortunately, they used a torque drive motor. But you can tell someone put a lot of work into that. Oh, Tyco. But anywho, there might have been GP30s in. I found this little car here. This is a really interesting wood kit. It has the Baker couplers, which were known for being used on the Gory and Defeated Railway by John Allen. So that's a neat little car. And then this is an obscure wood car that I like, the National Model Railroad Association. I think that's what it's supposed to say. Unfortunately, it's got new trucks, but hey, it's cool. I'll take that. You may have noticed this little windmill doohickey. The guy had it out, and he says it didn't work right, and I plugged it in and it sort of spun, but it kind of had a hiccup, so something's bent on the shaft. And he said he'd take $1 for it, so I'll take that in a heartbeat. Hand soldered together. I'll see what I can do with it. Then this thing here, kind of a 1940s era bridge transport doohickey. I forgot the term for these. I'm forgetful today. But that is also hand built out of wood. All that detail. Someone did a good job of that one. I applaud that, and it's got Kadee, so it's been used quite a bit, which means it'll probably operate quite well. And over here, I forgot about these. These two here, I actually kind of got for a friend. Streamline Steamroller. If you're watching this, you might be interested in these. It needs a little gluing, and I'm probably actually going to do that myself, but it has a complete interior with a antique bulb in there, so you know it's old. And this is made by Silver Streak, I do believe. And I do believe these are actually lit. And with that, I got this nicely made Great Northern boxcar, complete with the older Kadees. And I think those are Central Valleys, and it's heavily weighted. This is a really good car. Good one for the front of the train, so it won't derail. I always like to put the heavy ones at the front. And then this here is kind of getting dark out, but this one, the guy had this thing out, and he said, I'm going to offer this for $5 today because it may look nice and all, but notice it's missing its coupling rods. It has them here, but they're broken, so I'm going to see if I can solder them together. It also needs a little truck work. But I've kind of always wanted one of these Aristocraft 10-wheelers. And it's in the original box, too. You can't go wrong there. The box alone is probably worth that on eBay. And now for the trolley part. Right. So we have here, I don't really know what the maker is on it. This isn't the original box for it, I don't believe. But as far as I know, this is a New York elevated car. It's powered by a Pitman 5-pole, and it's got an old worm and bull gear drive system down there. And it has the catenary for it, but that came off and I don't want to mess with it. And it's actually kind of cool. Anywho, if maybe one of you could tell me what exactly this thing is. I found this just kind of thrown about in a bunch of junk, and it was like $15 or something. But I believe it is Chicago, an early part of the Chicago L, or maybe the New York Elevated Railway. But it has both the catenaries and the trolley poles, which is convenient for me because on my layout here I can only run them with the trolley pole. The catenary will get caught up on these little things here. And it has a Pitman 5-pole and a really large flywheel in there, so let's see if I can make this thing go. All the detail is actually handmade out of toothpicks and little pieces of wood. So I'm happy with that. Here's the box it came in. That's not the original box. It came with that old tail. It had been in there a long time, no doubt. Now these are quite interesting little trolleys here. The catenary, or the trolley pole, is actually hand assembled out of brass. Little sticks of brass, and there's some steel in there too. But this one here, the trolley pole's on the front car, and then the little dummy car in the back is actually where the motor's at. So I'm probably going to have some issues with derailments and such, but I'll probably work those out. These were $5 each. This one here is actually capable of running in both directions because it has 2 poles on it. And these were made by RSO, I do believe. Let me find out. AHM. But nevertheless, they're kind of cool. I'll do some of these. If anything, I needed couple of little trolleys that I can just turn on and walk away during train shows when I'm having this thing run publicly. So, yeah, cool. Anywho, thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe and all that. Feel free to leave comments. I'm always happy to hear them. This is Pops Productions 124. Have a nice